What is up, y'all? Welcome back. It's only been a day since the last video dropped. Wow, it is hotter than hell in here. It's about 90 plus degrees outside, probably over 100 degrees in my garage right now. But we got to get this ball rolling here with this car. We only got a few days before the dyno tune, and we're gonna get this engine in that car today. So stay tuned, guys. We were able to tell that I had ran them, so I'm going to kind of show you guys. So last night we got the engine back from Lee at Full Bore Enterprises. We worked today, and about half hour, 40 minutes, we got the clutch in. We went with a competition stage 4 clutch, and then we bolted the tranny on. We do have a lightweight flywheel as well. It's just like a competition or something. I don't even remember what brand the flywheel is. I had it on here before, but yeah. So we got the transmission bolted to the engine. We got all of our hoses, everything all hooked up here. Got all our sensors in the back of the block, our PCV valve, alternators bolted up. So I think all we really have left to do is get her in that hole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, we're gonna use the chain hoist here. Donnie's been kind enough to leave his chain hoist. We're gonna use the chain hoist and put it on this little roller like we used to take the engine out, and we're gonna roll it underneath. We're gonna move the chain hoist back over to here and lift the car up into the air, and then roll the engine and transmission right on through, and then lower the car down on top of it. Super simple way to do it. Trying to dick around with an engine hoist in a Honda is absolutely pointless. This is honestly the cat's pajamas here. So yeah, we'll get her rolling. So got the engine and trans on the rolly cart. Works out great. What I need to do now is go get my wheels and tires, or my Hoosiers. I need to bolt them on the back, and I need to take it off the jack stands in the back of the car and lower it down onto the wheels, so that way we're able to pivot it, because it'd be super dangerous to try to pivot on a jack stand. So do it with the rear wheels on. So we'll go get those. We've been storing them in the basement this winter. And then, yeah, we basically went from winter to 100 freaking degrees out, so in a matter of like a week. But yeah, that's Wisconsin life for you. Got our wheels on the back. Just make sure if you do this, you chock at least one of the rear wheels a little bit with something, so it doesn't like take off backwards when you lift it up. I got the chain hoist moved back over here. Used a soft tie-down strap for a trailer around the cross member there, and now we're just gonna jack her up. Just gotta verify that you're not smashing your exhaust in the ground. I'm literally as far up as I can go before the tow hook and the exhaust hits. So yeah, I think we're pretty high. So we should be good to roll her under. So we're getting closer, just trying to get her kind of into her home, and then we can get the mounts on that go on each corner here and then bolt her up. I'm probably just going to fast forward to that part because usually this is a lot of fighting, struggling, a lot of swear words involved. So we'll just we'll cut to the part where it's actually bolted into the car. Well, surprisingly, it went way easier than I thought. I managed to get, well actually, so what I did first was I lowered it down and I slid this bolt through and just got it started, kept it loose, and then went over here and then put the nut on here, and then there's a bolt underneath here. I just started those as well, and then basically I had enough movement with this that I was able to slide this bolt through and tighten everything down. And yeah, so the only other mount we have is the T-bracket in the back, which is super fun to get. I mean, it's just, God, I just love doing it. It just makes me so happy. So I'm gonna do that one next. I'm not gonna record it because that one I know is gonna be a boatload of fun. So quick before I do that, recap here. I did just lower it back down onto the jack stands in the front. It's still on the ground in the rear. And what I did was I took all the tension off of this, but I'm leaving it there just for safety since I'm going to be directly underneath the engine in the back with another mount. Just, it's a good idea to have, you know, in just another form. But yeah, so we'll get that T-mount back in there. Managed to get the T-bracket in here. Dude, surprisingly it went in just totally smoothly. I think I just need to start saying that everything's gonna be crazy hard and not film it, because then it'll go really easy. Because that honestly was the easiest it's ever been. Like literally set it in and every bolt lined up perfectly. Didn't have to like twist on the engine to like get the bolts to slide through. It was just like literally perfect. So she's officially completely bolted into the chassis. Yay! So now that we have the engine completely bolted in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and basically connect all the vacuum hoses, connect all the electrical connectors, fuel lines, that sort of thing. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then once I get that all done, we'll touch that all the way done. I'll touch back with you guys because we still have a bunch of stuff to do down here. I got to put the CV axles in, the exhaust, all sorts of stuff. So I'll get all the tedious stuff here connected and we'll go from there. So we're at the closing stages here. I got the radiator in, got the upper radiator hose attached, got the lower radiator hose attached. Gonna do the spark plugs and the distributor next. And yeah, unfortunately we don't have oil and filter, otherwise it would be running tonight. But we're gonna have to wait till morning. I'm gonna have to run and grab some oil. But yeah, I'll do the distributor and spark plugs. Be back here shortly. Alrighty, boys and girls, after a long day, we're finally gonna call her a night. Got the intake on just now. Yeah, I mean, she's basically ready to rock tomorrow morning. We'll get some oil, get some antifreeze. Yeah, pumped. I'll think I'll sleep well tonight. So, yeah, awesome. Well, we'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, y'all. Slept pretty good last night, knowing that the engine was in the car. I threw the battery on the charger, so we're gonna charge that bad boy up. I'm gonna run to CarQuest quick, pick up some conventional oil. Lee said make sure I just get a good brand of conventional oil to let the rings seat in. You don't want to run synthetic; it's just too slippery, and the rings won't seat. So make sure when you break in your brand new engine, use conventional. So I'm gonna go do that. Get oil and filter, get some antifreeze, and swing back here, and hopefully the battery will be charged by then, and be able to fire her up. Woo! Well, everybody, I got back, put oil, antifreeze in it, and this is what we got going on. there's a coolant pipe on the back of the block that has 2 O-rings, and I must not have gotten them seated in there properly, so now I got to pull that entire coolant pipe off the back of the block and try and reseal it back up. Yeah. So we got that that coolant leak there. I just primed the fuel system. I checked for leaks. We're good there. We don't have any fuel leaks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and fire it up, see if it runs for 10 seconds, whatever, just so I know we're good there. So we'll crank her over and see what we got. Well, y'all, we're gonna have to pick up tomorrow. We have a bunch of stuff going on today. It did fire up after multiple attempts because I couldn't find a battery that was charged here at all, so I ended up having to jump start it. But I think the sandwich plate in the back is leaking oil everywhere. So I have to figure out what's going on with that. It's for the LS vtec kit. So tomorrow we'll get back on it, figure out we have a pretty bad oil leak from that, I'm pretty sure. And then that coolant tube in the back too, the O-rings are leaking on it. So yeah, we'll get her fixed. Don't have a whole lot of time left before the dyno, but we'll get her handled. As you can see, my garage floor is an absolute disaster right now. All wet and nasty. So I gotta get that cleaned up too. Alrighty, y'all, it's the next day. We're back here, getting nice and greasy, dirty, all sorts of stuff. So one of the things I think is going on is either this sandwich plate, this line, or this fitting that threads into the sandwich plate is leaking. It's super hard to tell where it's at in the back of the block, and I'm here by myself right now, so I don't have anybody to crank the thing over so I can look. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, like, at least on the fitting and probably on this seal here where it presses down onto the block itself, I'm probably gonna throw a bunch of Honda Bond on it just to make sure that it's, you know, eliminates this as a factor as far as leaking goes. So we'll do that, and then I'm also gonna have to get that coolant pipe off, which is gonna be not fun, and somehow get that all sealed up too, so we stop our coolant leaks. So we'll start here first. I'm not going to put this on until after I get the pipe situation done, because I think it'll give me a little bit extra room back there to be able to work. This is just more junk that's going to be in the way, so we'll get that pipe out too. So I managed to get the coolant pipe out here. So it's leaking down here on this end, but I'm going to pull this end apart too, just to make sure that it is all sealed up. But I'm gonna have to get some O-rings here. The one that was on here was tore, and I honestly we tried putting an OEM one on. It was a super thick O-ring, and we could not get this to slide into the back of the water pump. So we just put 2 smaller ones on, but obviously that didn't work. So I'm gonna try and figure something out here. Okay, so I think I figured out a solution for the coolant leak. So, like I said before, I was using 2 small O-rings, and this was the factory one. I couldn't get it to fit in there. It's way too tight of a fit. Even with putting a 2x4 on the pipe and trying to pound it in, I couldn't get it to go into the back of the water pump. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do, or what I did. I actually took a grinder on the other side, and I actually made it just a little bit smaller. I took the round portion of it off, the convex portion of it off, and I made it more flat, and it presses into the thermostat housing. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side that goes into the water pump housing, just to make it a little bit smaller, so that way you're able to press it in. And I think that should take care of our issue. And I'll probably throw a little bit of Honda Bond on there too, just you know, for a little bit of extra security, because I do not want to have to take this off again. This is honestly a freaking pain in the ass. So we'll do the same thing to the other side. Just know that this is a very, very hard thing to get in, and if you run into this issue, this hopefully will help you out also. One word: wow. I just spent probably an hour and a half trying to push that tube into the water pump. Oh my god, absolute nightmare. I kept having to take more and more off that O-ring, lubing it up. Finally, I mean, I was literally able to push as hard as I possibly could, and I got it to slide into the back of the water pump. Like, legit, that is the dumbest design ever. Like, that's, yeah, not fun at all. So I'm going to get all the hoses hooked back up, and then I'm going to try throwing that sandwich plate back on, and I guess try and fire her up. You're probably only going to let it run for a couple seconds here. All right. All right. All right, guys. Well, the freaking hits just keep on coming. So, head's got to come back off. So, yeah. Not cool. So I don't know if I'll have her done, be able to run it or not. Pretty freaking depressing after all the time, effort, and money put into this thing. So, yep. So yeah, head's got to come off. There's a port in the head that we didn't plug. For some odd reason, I thought it was the block that was supposed to be plugged with the LS vtec kit, and I had just not done enough research on what was supposed to be done, and yeah, got to pull the head off. Got to plug a port in the head that's leaking oil everywhere. I'll show you what we got. So I got the intake manifold off there, right down in here. Just inside the head, there's a port that's supposed to be plugged, and that's where our leak's coming from. So, got to pull the head back off. So, got the head back off. So, I'm going to show you, this is totally my fault. I should have gave Lee more information, because he had never done an LS vtec conversion before, and I freaking messed up. Well, we plugged this fucking hole here. And we were supposed to plug, I believe this, I'm going to double check for sure, but we were supposed to plug the head, and we didn't. So we were getting literally oil just pouring out of that hole. So I got to extract that plug, and luckily I have a spare block. We're going to steal this out of there and put it in this one. So yeah, kind of sucks, a lot of wasted time, but you know, that's all it is time. Shouldn't really cost us any money. So I was able to thread a bolt in this and just pull it out. I'm gonna stick this in the new one, or in the block. It wasn't too bad getting it out of the old one. So yeah, that other plug here, this one's junk. We tapped it for this plug, but yeah, this is what needs to go in the head and not into this. So that's where we messed up. Hey, we all make mistakes. Okay guys, next day, managed to get the head tapped. Show you what that looks like. Right here, we got that plugged. It should be good, it's below the deck surface. So yeah, I'm gonna start the process of reassembly and hopefully get this thing running here by the end of the day. I just got done with work a little bit ago, so still daylight. We'll get her handled. Got the head studs all torqued down. Just got the cam caps just snugged down. I got to torque those yet. After I get those torqued, then we'll get the timing belt on and we'll get everything back into time. Holy crap, you guys. It's finally just starting to get dark out now. yeah, honestly, if the timing belt, if I would have been able to time this thing, I would have been done hours ago. I had about 2 hours in trying to get this thing back in time. I ended up having to pull the crank pulley back off, the timing cover off, take the alternator belt off. Like, yeah, it ended up being a freaking real big project. I probably tried to get it in time at least 25, 30 times before I was finally able to get it where it needed to be. So, got it where it needs to be now. And I had an issue with the tensioner. That was kind of most of the issue. I couldn't get it to tighten. So I ended up having to like use a floor jack and a piece of wood and jack up from the ground up into the tensioner just so I could get it tight enough to tighten it myself, because I'm here by myself and I don't have somebody else. So anyways, all I really have left to do, I just put antifreeze in it. It is holding, so we are further than we were the last time there. So I put the valve cover on, the distributor, put the spark plugs in, and that's pretty much all we got to do to get this thing started and running. So, literally, I have until tomorrow to get all the issues figured out before it goes and gets tuned. So we are literally, right to the end here. So we only probably get one shot at this. So if we have any issues, if we have any leaks, they're not going to be resolved in time. And we're probably not going to be able to race our car until the end of June, because that was like the last or the next dyno tune appointment I could get in for. So yeah, fingers crossed. Let's get this shit fucking rolling here. Oh my God, guys. We're gonna start it. Yeah. I left the intake off. I'm gonna leave the spark plug cover off too. Don't need to put that on to fire it up. But yeah, let's crank her over and see what happens. I am honestly scared to death right now. So as you guys saw, it was running. Actually runs pretty good. But, like all good things, they come to an end. We have developed another oil leak. So when the dipshit that had this, I'm sorry for the language, but I'm actually really fucking pissed off right now. But when the guy that had this engine before me, or the head, he messed up the rocker shaft. Well, we had to re-tap threads into the head for that. Well, there really wasn't a lot of meat left after he beat the living crap out of the rocker shafts. Well, there's a plug that plugs those rocker shafts. Well, that one is leaking. So I have to pull the valve cover, pull the timing back off. Yeah. To get at that plug to try and figure out how I'm going to seal that up. So, I just, oh my God. Super pissed right now. So, well, we'll keep going. Alrighty, y'all, so I managed to get the cam gear off. Put a ton of zip ties on here. I was able to slide it off just far enough to get an Allen wrench behind there. And I pulled the plug out. I cleaned it up. I threw a bunch of Honda Bond in the plug and put it back in to dry. I got everything, made sure everything's back in time. And we are going to let it sit and dry till morning before we try and start it again. So, yeah, we'll throw the valve cover on and kind of button this all up just so it's not sitting open. And we will give her a shot in the morning. We're heading to go pick up some E85. We need that for the tune tomorrow. So I got stopped at Kelly Byers Racing. Picked up, actually he made me a new AN drain line for my fuel cell. So pretty cool. Shout out to Kelly Byers. They're in Linden Station. Awesome freaking place. So yeah, we're gonna get some E85 here and head home and hopefully maybe put a few miles on the car. We did it, y'all. We're finally on our first test drive. Fingers crossed, all of our issues are resolved. Hell yeah. I did a couple like not real hard pulls, but just got on it enough to hit VTEC a couple times, and holy crap, the VTEC pop is so loud. It's insane. Like, wow. So I'm really excited to see tomorrow when they get this thing on the dyno what it's gonna do and how it's gonna perform after they tune it. So we'll just have to see. I just stopped to check to see if we had any leaks. We don't, so we're good. We're just gonna keep putting a few miles on her here. Check engine light did come on. Not sure what it's for. I'll probably just let them scan it tomorrow. I really don't have time to look into it today. So hopefully it's just something with the tune. If not, maybe it's a sensor or something. But it seems to be running good. Good morning, y'all. It is dyno day. We have the car on the trailer. It is downpouring outside. Gonna get this thing loaded up, and we are heading down to New Berlin, Wisconsin to King Motorsports. I did not think this day was gonna happen, honestly. After all the trials and tribulations, we made it. So, thank God. We'll see you when we get there. Alrighty guys, we made it to King Motorsports. Awesome building, super nice inside. Pretty kick-ass place. Hell yeah. We're gonna pull up here, get unloaded, and we're gonna have to push the car in. Since we have E85 on it, it won't run on it since it's not tuned for it yet. So we'll get unloaded here. Alrighty guys, we made it in. He's gonna run through all his checks and go through everything, and hopefully we'll get a few runs here on video at the end of the day. So we'll be back in a few hours or so. Alrighty guys, so he's just finishing up with some of the partial throttle stuff. Did a couple pulls there, got him on film. So funny thing, so last year we brought our B16 here and had it tuned. Made 152 wheel horsepower. He pulled up the graph from that one and this run here. Literally the curve is, I mean, picture perfect identical. So he asked me, you know, what things are we reusing, you know, from before, and basically I told him, you know, the intake manifold, throttle body, the intake pipe, and the header, because we're a little low on power, you know, to be from where we kind of should be. So tried swapping the intake pipe, didn't change at all. He had a 3-inch one that we threw on, didn't change. Eliminated a couple other things, and we're thinking the header and exhaust is really holding it back, probably, you know, 10 to 12 horsepower, maybe even 15. We have a Skunk 2 4-to-1 header and the Tanabe Medallion exhaust, which is like a baffled muffler. He said that right there is probably 8 to 10 horsepower. So right now we're running about 100, just over 180 wheel horsepower. We made 150 on the B16. So I'm not super concerned about it. We're pretty much just going to run this one, you know, NA for now until we get till we get our turbo kits. I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on exhaust because I'm going to be changing it anyways when I turbo it. But this engine was built anyways as a turbo build. It's a high compression turbo build. If we were going all motor, we would have put higher compression pistons in it than we did, and we probably would be seeing 230, 240 horsepower. So we're probably okay with where we're at. You know, I would like to have made more, but you know, we're still 30 horsepower more than what we were last year, and we have a really stout engine that we don't have to worry about. Everything's fresh. She's brand new. She should be ready for boost. So I'm gonna let them finish up. I really appreciate it, guys, for sticking it, you know, through this video. It's probably pretty long, I'm assuming. This last week has just been absolute hell. It took everything I had to get to this point. I mean, I think I went 3 days straight working on the car with no sleep. So if you guys could, I mean, I would really appreciate, you know, if you guys could subscribe, maybe hit that like button. But special thanks to King Motorsports here. These guys are great. Probably one of the best tuning shops as far as how much they care and the time that they put in to make sure your car is you know, as best as it can be, and safe. Also thanks to Full Bore Enterprises. Thank you, Lee. I know you had to go through hell to get this engine done too. So thank you so much. Thank you to GMJ Automotive and Adams. Great repair shop. Jacob and Melissa there are awesome. And thank you to anybody else that's helped us out. Thank you to Olivia, my fiance, for being patient on this last week or so of hell. She knows I've been stressing out like crazy, and I would have loved to have spent time with her this week, but it was just, yeah, it was crazy. So thank you guys so much. Might throw a little B-roll in here for you. But yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.